Let's go
So,
for it.
all right, guys, super grateful here to be with Nathan and Kendall, brand new kind of brand new 5K leaders as of like a month ago, right, guys?
Right? Yep.
So, and what's really interesting, they're already, we're halfway through the month here. They're already there again, right on going straight to 10K. So that's amazing. And our whole purpose tonight here is just to share a little bit, really to share a little bit of Nathan and Kendall's lives. Give it, you may even get a little hack or success tip on the journey here. And so, guys, as we're starting out here, I just want to throw this out, kind of a general. Can you give people a little bit of your background, whatever you feel is appropriate, spend a couple minutes, just kind of connect with people, let them get to know you just a little bit about who you are, what's some of your background, what led you up until you discovered this awesome business and income and everything that you're doing. So, and I'll leave it up to you guys. Take it away.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much, Jason. I know you've been here since day one with us and been an amazing leader, an amazing mentor. So cannot thank you enough. So we owe this to you as well. You've been along on this journey for us right from day one. So we are here today because of you. But yeah, I come from the construction industry. I'm in water and sewer maintenance here for the city in Saskatoon. Been there for 8 years now, and great job. I cannot stress that enough. Amazing job. I got amazing benefits. I got pension, you name it. There's no negatives to it. But now come with winter time, this is my busy time of year. It's where I work a lot of overtime. I put in a lot of long hours, a lot of long days, a lot of long shifts consecutively. So I'm away from home. I'm missing, a lot of important things in life because, to pay the bills and get ahead in life and, the lifestyle that I want to have, you gotta work for it. You gotta earn it. I am guilty as charged. I do have an expensive taste, and I do like to have nice things and do that. So I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to work overtime, but that's my choice, right? But kind of last year, I kind of had that epiphany light bulb that went off where, I'm putting in like so many hundreds of hours of overtime. I'm missing so much things in life. My health has kind of been put on the back burner just from, working all these long hours and lack of sleep and so on and so forth, that I realized this wasn't like a sustainable lifestyle that I could have for like the next 20 or 30 years moving forward. It was kind of at that point, that breaking point where I was like, okay, well, what can I do or what can I incorporate into my life that is going to either help sustain my lifestyle that I want to obtain, or that's going to replace my income? Because I can't be, like right now I'm still young. I'm only 30 right now, but I can't be working these kinds of hours when I'm 40, 50. And then also you're going to throw into the mix of, we want to eventually have a family, it's just missing on all those things in life. So we're super grateful that we were able to come across this opportunity, this team, this community. And we've only started back in November, and we hit the ground running. It was one of those things, when as soon as you find that team, you find that support, you find all these like-minded people that you just gravitate to, and you just grab on like a leech. It's hard to be drawn back from it. You just want to have more and more and more. And I know, Jason, we followed your journey as well. I think when we came to business, you were maybe 25K or 50K. And now last month you just went to 100K. So, you're setting the standard there. We definitely want to follow in those footsteps. So we appreciate those leadership roles. But from that standpoint, like we're now in February. Now we hit like our 5K again. We're going for 10K this month and then above and beyond. We have so many, like amazing things to look forward to here. And we're not looking back one bit, so it's just moving forward and forward and forward. And I'll let Kendall talk a little bit about herself.
Awesome.
So I actually work as an operations supervisor at a plumbing and electrical company, and I've been there. I actually just got my 5-year certificate for there. It was a little bit of a scary time last year in February. They ended up laying off 16 people who were in my company, and it sucked because it was a lot of people that I'd worked with from the very beginning. And everything's kind of slowed down in Saskatchewan over the last few years. We had a boom, and then now it's slowing down, and the job market's kind of scary, and you don't know if your job's going to be safe or not. And so we, yet again, because of Nathan and myself, we decided that we wanted to look for something else. We actually were with a previous offer before, but we kind of felt like it was one of those, you have to fake it till you make it. And it wasn't aligning with us.
Not
and
kind of, it was.
Okay, it was. I was trying to be nice. And I was just like, hey, this is not something, this isn't what we want. Like, doesn't feel genuine. It's not something that we can connect with. We feel like we were being fake. And so when we found MDC, actually, my longtime childhood friend, Ashley Davis, was the one who started talking to me about it. And she was also with the previous offer that we were with before. And she's like, I know you had the same experiences that I did, but I have something here that is going to absolutely floor you. And the one thing that I'll always remember, she said, I am building something absolutely amazing, and I don't want you to get left behind. And right then I was like, okay, you've been bugging me for a month now. What is this?
Awesome. So,
yeah.
So let me ask around that. And so some of your background, it's really interesting. So Kendall, you kind of had a job scare like a year ago, you know, kind of got you thinking of like, well, what could this mean for me? You saw people you've known. Sounds like how long have you been there?
Well, in total, 7 years. I left for like 6 months and then went back. So yeah, but there were people there who were there longer than me, and they were getting let go. Like some people who were there for 10 years got let go. So it didn't really matter your seniority.
Yeah. So these are people you've created relationships for like 7 years, and you're watching people like get whacked, and it's not, it feels so out of your control. And I see that so often around. Some people have some kind of a catalyst, kind of a wake up moment, kind of like a line in the sand of like, well, man, just fate just changes a little bit. Next thing I know, that could have been me. And and I want to tie that in. So Nathan, how does that tie in? It sounds like you love what you do, or at least like it. It sounds like pays good and a lot of great things about it. What's some of your driving why behind, like, are you seeing some of like what Kendall went through and you're like, man, we could have been screwed? Or like, what was your thought process behind all that?
Well, like from my standpoint, I'm super grateful and fortunate. Like I don't have to go to bed knowing that I'm not going to be without a job. Like my job security is 100% there. So I'm super grateful for that. It's just
more so your health.
Yeah, it's just more so like my health, and having the lifestyle that I want to have. Yes, it gives me that, but the amount of hours that I put into having what we want to have and what we want to experience, that's another thing, right? So I just don't go to work for 40 hours a week. So on average, I put on 60 plus hours at work a week.
A couple of weeks ago, he went to work at like 7 a.m, and he didn't get home until midnight.
Yeah.
So some days I don't even really see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those lifestyles, it's just right now it's great. Like my body, I'm young enough to do the things that I can right now, but I'm just seeing the bigger picture, right? I'm just seeing like, this is what it's able to provide for me right now, but
it's
not sustainable. I can't do those long hours when I'm 40, 50, 60 years old, right? And like we already said, like the fluctuation of the market, I have a pension right now, but 30 years from now, like I don't know if that pension is going to be the same, and I'm not going to be naive about it to myself and lie to myself to say it's going to be there for me in 30 years.
Yeah. I really applaud you for that. It's really, a lot of people get into that situation and they don't have the foresight that you're applying to it. And not just around pension, but around health as well. What came to mind, I checked out, if I look over here, so I'm like checking the people on the Facebook thing. I have a really good friend I've known over a decade. When I met him, I think we met in 2008, and he owned his own painting company in the US. And he was, I think at the time, he was already mid 40s or somewhere 40s already, I think. And he was beat up, arthritis, like that was over a decade ago. And I still know him today, and he never was able to find enough pain in what he was doing to apply it, because he would create some income and then kind of let it go away, and he never held on to that with both hands and like, dude, this is what could happen in the future. Because here we are a decade later, even more poor health. He's still, the hours are crazy. He has contractors quit on him, and like then he ends up working like insane hours. And so I really applaud you for that, and for both of you Kendall as well, to realize like those scares, thank God it wasn't to yourself. Like I've been in that situation. It did happen to me, and it turned out to be one of the greatest moments. It just didn't feel like it at the time. So let's lead into, I let you guys hinted at, so you had done a little bit before. You came in through Ashley, so someone that you knew. So Kendall, you mentioned Ashley bugged you for like a month around it. What was that like? Did she get to where you're like, I'm just done with that stuff, it doesn't work, it doesn't work for me, or what's kind of your mindset around that?
I was more done than Nathan was with her other offer. I was seeing the success that Ashley was having, and also because he didn't really have Ashley at all on social media at that point, and I was seeing her start to kill it. And we didn't really know Jeff and Jody that well before either, but I've seen them around and stuff, and I was kind of following their journey and when they hit 5K and stuff. And I was like, okay, this is just something that we can't miss out on. It actually seems like super genuine, and it seems like something that we can actually get behind. It took Nathan a little bit longer. He was like, oh, okay, well, how about you start it and you see how it goes, and like we'll try and do both and then see what happens. And then when the whole big world opened up, we were just like, we're all in. We're all in. Screw the other thing. Let's get in here.
one of the biggest selling points was like our other offer, like we spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, for everything that we got and the products and everything we used. And I mean, for this business to be able to start up an online business and it's only a couple $100, like that's that was a selling point. I was just like, when she told me about this offer and like this opportunity, I didn't really think too much about it. I was like, you know what, just swipe the card.
Yeah.
Go for it. You know, we're not talking about life-changing money here that you have to go to the bank, take out a massive loan for, or any of that, you know, right? And we haven't looked back since.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of? We'll dive some into the business stuff. So, what do you think is the difference of when we're looking at numbers? So the thing that comes to my mind when sharing with what you shared is like, I've been in high ticket offers. I've been in super low ticket, like $10 a month, free trials, all that stuff. And there's pros and cons to every single aspect, all comp plans, all companies, all this other stuff. I truly believe there's something really special happening here. But what did you guys see that was, so you didn't have to take some giant loan to get started? What else were you seeing that you know started leaning you this direction?
Well, seeing other people's success with the industry as well, that was the biggest thing. Seeing like so many like-minded people that were having the success. Another big one too is like our company is so confident in their products, in their compensation plan, like having a 60-day full money back guarantee. I mean, we're talking like zero risk. Yeah. So I mean, that was a huge one. And so
and the way that everyone was cheering on each other, like even though we weren't actually part of it yet, I would just like look at Jeff and Jody's post and so they just hit 5K and there's like 200 people that are like, yeah, you did it, this is awesome. And it's like, wow, that's massive support.
As well, yeah. Crazy. And also like the biggest thing is in these communities is having huge team leaders like yourself, Jason, and we had Jeff and Jody. Like other businesses, you don't have these higher up team leaders that take time out of their day to reach out to like people that are just starting in the business. It's kind of like in other businesses, those those higher up people just hang out with the higher ups and they just
Yeah.
stay at the top. And so that's what I liked about this business. You know, like Jason, you're a shark in this industry. You lead the way with like your knowledge and with your leadership and mentorship. And I still remember from day one, like we joined in one of your online trainings, and then you instantly like reached out to us. You're like super happy to have you here. And I mean, that was the biggest thing that meant to us.
It meant so much.
I was like,
to
you know,
us.
having a guy that's reaching out to us that we don't know from a hole in the ground. But now it's like we've been able to build over the last like 3.5 months an amazing relationship with you, and we can't wait to meet you in these live events that we're going to be going to.
So excited.
Yeah, super fun. Isn't it amazing how we start to create these, you know, we don't even live in the same country. I'm in the US, you guys are in Canada, and we start creating these relationships through this thing, you know, the internet. I've been building things online for a lot, like since 2006, and realized that I have so many great, all my best friends have come through some kind of online business endeavor, meeting at events, like, and we've traveled the world together, so many of us, and that it's a really cool thing. It's this whole internet thing is here to stay. It's here to stay. You can build legitimate relationships, because I know people that they don't believe you can meet people through social media and like create real things with, but yet that's exactly what so many of us have done and are doing. And I would say what you guys mentioned about getting support from people, that's something that there's cultures in different organizations that if the culture kind of is like all of leaders, like they do their own thing, or the people having success, and maybe they just kind of like preach down from the mountaintop and they're not in the trenches. What I notice a lot of times, like some of them, they're not even building the business anymore. They're only trying to manage their business, and that always leads to a dead end. And some people have, you know, I think there are some leadership styles that's just their style, that they kind of go more on their own, and it's totally fine. But when you have an entire company or team of leaders that are doing that, it really impacts everybody. So that's really cool. You guys noticed that. And I love what you mentioned, Kendall, about like seeing, you know, Jeff and Jody have all this support from everybody. That's really cool. So that, I think there's, you know, like Aaron comes to mind, and some people have like, they've done a really great job of like cultivating communities like that. And with what you just shared, I'm like, we need to do that even more. Like, it's awesome.
Exactly.
So, and by the way, so any of you that are joining us on Facebook, we're here on Zoom together, and we're kind of watching the comments on the side. We're not like super engaged right now, but we will kind of check some of the comments and questions, and please keep engaging with us. All the loves, the likes, all that. It really, I know it means a lot, especially to Nathan and Kendall. I mean, you guys, like, obviously it means a lot. That's why they're part of why they're in the business for seeing some of that. It's really cool. So let's flip towards, let's change, not really change direction, but you had mentioned you felt a really good culture fit early on, and you saw some things that may be a little different. By the way, it's super common for someone, even I was like this, that I joined, and this was a big focus, but I still have my little side like safety nets. I still have my like, but this is going to be the back end. This is going to be the side thing or the part-time thing or whatever. And this is the first time in a long time where I am like truly 100% focused, where I feel I can put my loved ones and my team that direction without, you know, it's a really good opportunity for that. It's and I think it's pretty rare, because a lot of companies and owners aren't that legit. And so when you guys first seeing the culture and everything, tell us a little bit about what, like the beginning, talk about like the first week or two, the first couple weeks. What do you remember about getting started? I remember that you guys got off to a pretty good start early on. So tell us a little bit about that. What contributed to some of your early success? And, this could be for people already in the company, or maybe they're in some other company. They want to know, like, what is the magic sauce over there? What are all these guys doing? So share a little bit of what happened early on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got like a little bit of experience leading into this from our previous offer, but I feel the biggest form of success that we had from it was when you truly feel aligned with something, and you just feel like connected with it. You don't have to fake it till you make it. People can just tell the way by like how you're talking and how you can relate to something, and like you're genuine about it, right? Our previous offer, we weren't having the success that we were having because, and I see it now, like back then I was just like, it was kind of like fighting against the grain, but it's because it didn't align with us, right? Like I didn't feel connected to it. I was just felt like I was like bullshitting, like, excuse my language, but with coming into this offer, it's like I'm just able to speak genuine about it, and then also having the success to back that. So the more and more success that we continue to have, the easier and easier it gets to keep talking about this business, because we're not just like speaking from our just from like how we align with it. We're also speaking to like the financial backing, and to actually seeing like this business grow and explode, that it's being able to be sustainable, and we're seeing the results.
I think too, one of the biggest things is we immersed ourselves in all of the training right away. I know that some people try and take shortcuts, or they just do a little bit here and there and they think that it's going to work out okay. But the biggest thing is following the steps, doing everything the way it should be done, and going forward like that. You can still like launch your business and everything as you're learning, but don't take any shortcuts, because I've seen people do that and then they get super frustrated and they're like, I don't understand why this isn't working, and then they realize after, I missed a huge piece of that puzzle, and oh, now I get it. So don't take any shortcuts, because in the end it really doesn't do you any good.
And another thing too that really aligned with this was, in a lot of other businesses, like you have to pay for education. You have to pay for the training, because everyone else wants to get reimbursed for the hours that they put into it. Coming into this company, you can, if you're like you're just a real like I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but you're just like an educational guru. You just love to like soak it all up like a sponge. Like there is endless amounts of training, and it's all 100% free. Yeah. So like if you wanted to put in 10 hours a day of just training, like I don't think you could run out of the amount of training that we have available at our fingertips. So to have all of that at zero cost, where other companies you could be spending hundreds and thousands of dollars just to get these extra little tidbits here and there, that was a huge part that we're learning every week. We have live trainings every week. So to get that all for 100% free, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah, I love that about our business. It's always a leadership decision coming, and it's ultra a cultural kind of thing, and realizing that I charge like $1,000 an hour for coaching and consulting, and then to look at like I'm giving away like $10,000 training. How can I not charge for this? So there's that side of it. But there's also the side of seeing the vision and really believing in what it is. Here's what it is. The leaders have to believe in the vehicle and the income stream that pouring in the skills and the training is going to help them create the money that they could have made charging in a different way. And it doesn't mean you can't do both. I know there's some teams that do that, and I don't see that as any part of the culture of like our entire team and everything we're doing, but it can work. But it's cool that you guys are seeing those things. I love this because you have a relatively fresh perspective, and you guys have been in this company like a little over 90 days, right? Like 3.5 months or something like that.
3.5 months, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's really cool to have. You have you still have your perspective of when you first started and these things you're seeing, but you're also well into momentum. I mean, you guys are so far into momentum. You have 1K, 2Ks on your team, right? Like
yes, we do.
it's really, yeah. So
We're
I
so
love,
proud of them. I
yeah.
just love it. It
How
makes
does
me
that
so
feel?
happy. Yeah.
And that's another thing with this business too, that I like we found a true passion where like we're able to help, other people,
Hmm.
and like being able to have people that are like, now we have a 1K and a 2K underneath us, and the relationships and the connections that we have built with them. We don't know them either. Like we never met them, but like the amount of communication that we have with them and the relationships that we've already made, and being able to help and change all these like other people's lives. Um, that's where I don't know, it just really hits home, and I love being able to have that opportunity to do.
I don't think that we knew that we actually loved being mentors as much as we've realized. And now it's like we just love it. We love it so much. We love seeing people rise up and succeed, and we love being able to help get them there. And it's just, oh, it's just an amazing.
It's I can share with you, for every like heartfelt person, leader that I know, that when you hear leaders talk about, because now you are these leaders, that I would rather have my team succeed. Like the millions will all come, but like it's so amazing and fulfilling to help other people on that journey. And even if you're just like a little part of it, even if, it's really cool to see you guys having that, and to have so many ripples created throughout all that.
So
So
rewarding to be able to like have other people sharing the successes that we have also had.
Yeah.
So then for them being able to duplicate, and then for them to feel the emotions that like when we first stepped into
Yeah.
those roles at the 1K, 2K rank, and I know how like we felt, and being able to like see those people now, like the way that they feel, it just makes you feel, I don't know. It's so rewarding. You can't put a price on it.
Yeah.
yeah, that's so cool. And you guys had mentioned that. Tell me some of how you built your business the first couple weeks, but because you had mentioned your, like, you don't know your 1 and 2K leaders on your up and coming leaders on your team, right? So I'd love to
Right.
know, how did you get connected with them? Kind of, so Kendall knew Ashley from before, so there was a connection there. But
Yeah.
now you guys are seeing success from someone it sounds like you didn't know in the past. But even leading up to that, how did you get your business started? And where do these magical 1 and 2K people fly out from to, or get attracted in from?
Well, I would say that's the word right there that you used is you want to attract the like-minded people, right? You want to attract your tribe. You want to attract the people, that best resemble you. And I mean, the biggest thing for our business was showing up consistently, and attracting the same people that, that we are as human beings, and like the struggles that we are going through and what we are wanting to achieve, and have the same like-minded people come to us that are searching for those goals as well, but they just don't know where to go yet. But I don't know, you just reached out on Facebook and you connected with one of ours, and then
Yeah.
downhill spiral from there. So,
But I think one of the biggest things is sharing your story and actually being able, like you said, to connect with people like that and being real. And yeah, I didn't know Jerica and Ben at all before they joined our team. And I previously actually had a business page. And so I was still doing that as well, but I was posting my MDC stuff in there. And I had no idea he was even following me. And actually, he ended up reaching out to me first, and Jerica ended up getting in after. And she's a mom of 3, and she's just loving every minute of it. And it's her time to shine. And it's been awesome. But it's great that I felt like they connected because of my story and reached out. And I think that's one of the biggest things I can tell people is just honestly being authentic and sharing your ups and downs and everything, and being consistent, because you don't realize how many people are actually watching. Like, you know what? We have people who've never liked any of our stuff or anything, and then we'll be out somewhere and they'll be like, hey, how's your business going? What's up with that? I'd like more information. It's like, wait a second, you didn't like anything that we had on there. I didn't even know you were looking at it.
but that's like, just like what she said with like being authentic and real. Like there's so many opportunities online nowadays, but like it's that fake it till you make it stuff, right? Like you have so many people that are posting like the nice Lamborghinis, you know, they got you got the expensive mansion. You're like, this is where I live. It's like, let's be real. Like you're just renting that for a photo op. Like let's be real. Like people can connect and can relate when they can see people's stories, their struggles, where they've come from. Like, you know, like, yeah, I would definitely love to have a Lamborghini one day, but I mean, that's not where I'm at my point in my life. So why am I going to share, you know, something I'm not having in my life right now, right? So we want to be able to share, and I think that's what we shared with that's why we're having the success that we are, is because people are able to connect with us on an actual personal level, because like there's so many people in the world that are going through the exact same struggles, the exact same pains. They're wanting the same goals, but they just don't know where to connect, because there's so many opportunities online now where it just seems too good to be true, because of all these, like, you know, people marketing like these lavish lifestyles that, you know, it's not real.
Mm-hmm. That I think you guys nailed it with that. So talking about authenticity, being yourself, sharing your story, including your struggles. And I like to lead into, you know, in a second, I'll ask you about what are some of the biggest things that, you know, have been your challenges so far. But I really want to, you guys brought something up that some people don't understand. And I think this is one of the steps they miss. So come in and like launching their business. What did that mean to you guys? Like, and what does it mean when you say share your story and being authentic? I'm playing kind of dumb here, you know, but here's what I mean by that. I'm not calling anybody dumb. I'm asking deeper questions around if there was somebody out there that they haven't quite figured out why things aren't working for them. I'd love for you to share more of specifics of those things, so maybe they can have this like, holy cow, that's what I've been missing. And yeah, that sounds kind of scary. Like, so tell us a little bit about your, like, how did you get started? Sounded like you had a Facebook fan page or a business page. So what did your first, do you remember what your first week looked like, or how you kind of approach things?
Yeah, when we first started, we did the training, and then we did like a pre-launch page post, sorry, and just said like some exciting news coming soon or something like that, and then everyone's like, oh my god, you guys are having a baby, you're engaged, you're moving across the world. And we're like,
you have no idea.
No. We're like, no, but you have to wait till tomorrow to find out. And they're like, no way, we want to know now. So we kind of just like created the suspense there. And then the next day we did like our launch post. So we mentioned that we had paired up with an amazing CBD company, gave some statistics about how it's grown and exploded over the last couple of years, why it aligned with us. And yeah, what else did we put in there? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but the biggest thing was, you know, when we first started, like we knew our why, like in the industry, like why we're doing this. That was the biggest thing that drives and motivates us. And I feel that's what a lot of people, they need on the level of, they need to connect more with their why. That's because ultimately that's what's going to drive the vehicle. That's what's going to drive you every day, because this isn't all like rainbows and unicorns. Like, you know, everyone has their good days, their bad days. But that was the biggest thing, was our why, was what drives us.
Yeah.
What motivates us on a daily basis to show up for our business, to put in the work, put in the effort, because we know where we want to go. We know what we want to see from this. And that motivates us every day. And that's what drives our souls. And yeah.
I think that is one of the biggest things too. I think to even some people who have came in and maybe haven't seen success right away, or people who are not already ready to jump in yet, their why isn't strong enough, or they haven't actually thought about it or wrote it down or like seen it. Because we know, like, even on our hard days, our why is so strong that there's no way we're going anywhere. We're just going to keep going up. We're not stopping. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give people when they are wanting a change in their life, is to sit down and what does that look like to them? and why do they want it, and that why has to be so strong that you just have to persevere no matter what.
And another big like struggle like coming into this was it's personal development. Like you have to work on yourself first before anything. And I feel like a lot of people when they jump into an online business or they start up something, you know, after 1 week they're like, well, why isn't there $1 million in my bank account? You know, like I signed up, like why isn't it here? You know, and it doesn't work that way. Like if that's the way it worked, everyone would do it. Mm-hmm. But like it's just you have to put in some work. But if you put in work, you're going to be rewarded. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, as well as you can't come into this industry, and it doesn't matter, not even this business, but any business, and you can't have that comparison syndrome. You know, like just because somebody came in the first month, and you know they hit 5K in their first month, and in your first month you only made one sale. You know, you can't. You're like, well, what am I doing wrong? Everyone has their own separate journey, mm-hmm. But it's the matter of if you're not seeing that instant success right away. This is like where the test of being an entrepreneur and the test of like your mindset is like, who's willing to tough it out? Who's willing to put in the work? Who's willing to grind it out? Because it's not a matter and a question of if it's going to happen for you. It's a matter of when. But 90% of people, you know, they don't want to wait for the when. They want it now. And then that's when people, you know, they just opt out. And then you'll hear back from them again like 90 days and they'll be like, I wish I would have stayed in. But, yep. You know, to each their own. And that just comes from like your mindset, and that comes from your drive of having a strong enough why to stay into this for the long haul.
So that I think a lot of what's behind this, like this get rich quick microwave instant gratification world that we all live in, that the success formula comes to mind. I remember a mentor sharing this, and it actually comes directly from Jim Rohn, and I'm sure it comes before even other things, but your level of success is equal to your skills multiplied by the action that you take. So if you don't have any skills, no personal development, and you're just spinning your wheels, taking a bunch of action, like 100 action times 0 skills is 0 success. And I think what happens is that people have too low of numbers in the action and skills areas. They've read hundreds of books and they just sit there. They've never launched. They don't share their story. They don't have they think they know their why, but nobody knows anything because they're like hiding in a closet somewhere. And so I think that's a piece behind that. I would love, can you guys share? So I love picking things apart that we get so used to hearing. So here's a term. I forgot the verbiage for it, but when we hear terms so much that we're like, we just shut off to it. We disconnect with it. So one of those is like finding your why and your why. And so many people have heard like, well, your why has to make you cry. You have to know your why. And like without, I would love to know, just by straight example, can each or both of you share, is your why, I'm sure it goes deeper than I saw some people let go a year ago and that kind of scared me. And I'm not sure if I can be doing this stuff when I'm 40 and 50. And I'm not sure if my pension will be there in decades from now. What can you share some of the juice of that so people can get a feel for what you're talking about? And you don't have to 10 minutes or anything, but is there like, dive a little bit into that?
I think for me, not only is it that people got let go and my job may not be secure, but I think that I always knew that I was destined for something more. And it's funny that now I'm falling into a mentor role, because when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a teacher. And then when I thought about it, I was like, I don't know if I really want to hang out with 30 kids all day. I might want my own someday, but I don't know about 30 kids. So, and it's funny because I was happy with my work, but I always felt like there was something else bigger than that. And it wasn't until some of these opportunities started coming up that I was like, this could be what I'm meant to do. And I feel it's crazy because I'm like, whoa, I am teaching people, but it's just not little kids in like an amazing way. And it's so much more fulfilling for me to be doing this, and it literally just makes me so happy.
It shows through your energy, your demeanor. We can totally feel that. Like, I just felt your why. That's exactly what I was looking for. So Nathan, talk a little bit about the depths of your why.
Well, the depths of my why. So like right now, like in Canada, like we've been blessed with like a fairly decent winter, but on average, like minus 30 degrees Celsius, minus 40, minus 50, like on a consistent basis for like 4 months out of the year. And I'm working outside all year, rain, snow, hail, you name it. I'm dealing with water in those temperatures. Like, there's not too many people that are willing to get wet outside, like in a bunny hug or a hoodie. Yeah. And it takes a toll on the body, that's for sure. Like working outside in those conditions. I don't know. I could say like my why is like, I could just feel it in my soul that I love my work, what I'm doing, but there's something I'm not being fulfilled enough through it. There's something more that I should be doing or whatnot. Like my job can be very rewarding. When people don't have water, they don't have like these utilities that we take for granted. It's rewarding when you're able to get those services fixed to them and replenish those utilities. But that's not enough. It wasn't something that I could feel. And instantly coming into this online world, something completely different, something completely out of my norm. But it seemed that it just fit so easily. Like it wasn't like I had to like fight against the grain or anything. It's kind of like it just meshed perfect with the person that I am. And now you just fast forward quickly in these 3.5 months, and now I've already like stepped into like a mentoring role. I love being able to help people. And we have so many people reaching up to us already that are like, they look up to us, and that's so rewarding and it feels so good. And
I think he's a really good speaker too. I don't think he knows it, but he kills it on his Go Lives. And I feel like one day he might even be like a motivational speaker or something. Like you can feel his passion and his energy in all of his videos. And I don't think he knows how good he is. But I think that's one of the things deep down that really fulfills him, whether you know it or not.
And you know what? I'll be honest. I don't feel like I'm a very good speaker, but that's why I like putting myself out there, like being able to talk more, get out there. And you know what? It just feels good that, it doesn't matter if it's just one person that I can help. That's one more person more than I helped yesterday. So I don't know, just the fulfillment of it. That's what keeps the wheels spinning, and I love it.
You know what really touches me there is realizing that, so you have gifts for or something pulling you towards, like teaching, and also towards serving people. And what I was realizing, so I relate so much to what you shared there. I have chills all over, and realizing that, it reminds me of the connections I had, and I had similar, like, I realized I wanted to teach. I'm like, well, no teachers make any good money, or if they do, they're teaching college, and it seems like it's kind of more stable there, but they're only like, they're not even making $100K a year, not even close to that. And I realized like there's this other utility that people need, and water is super important too. It's like one of the most important things, but so is money. And so many people are afraid to talk about that. I used to be, I was totally raised, you don't talk about that stuff. It's, Lamborghinis, no, oh, that's just a waste. You could go feed poor people instead. And I think you can have all of that stuff, or I think a person can have whatever they want in life. And I love you both touched on, there is something deeper, even if you couldn't, I love you relayed the feeling perfectly of like, there's something deep inside. And I'll tell you guys what, there's someone actually on our team right now that I've known for a decade, that I told them this years ago. They had walked out of a business after trying for like on and off for a couple years, and they just left like for a year or two. And I remember we had this conversation, like, that feeling you have inside that's telling you there's something more for you than this job you've been at, or more for you than like the routine you keep running, that is never going to go away. And I only know that it was the first time I ever realized this, because she had gone in and out, and she was getting ready to leave. She's like, I'm totally done. I'm never coming back. And she did leave for like a year or two. Then she came back. And I was like, I was blown away, but it helped me realize that fire inside. Here's what my real beliefs are, is that every single person on earth, because we're wired from birth to either grow, we're either growing or dying. We're wired from birth to always be growing. And I think so many people, they bury that fire, they bury that feeling, they bury that why so deep that they think that's normal. And they think it's normal just to keep going the routine that they're like stuck in. And what happens is that their relationships, their health, their finances, everything just starts to like flat. They're making about the same as a year ago. Their health is about the same. Their relationship is about the same. And it's kind of like the world keeps advancing, like inflation keeps going up, right? So if you still make the same amount, you're actually declining by staying the same. And it's the same with our health and everything. And so you just really, I think you hit on that perfectly. Thank you both for sharing that. Yeah, and you guys have an amazing energy. I've been wanting to ask this as well. So how do you guys, there's a lot of couples I know that cannot do this business together, or they're ready, and maybe you guys are ready to kill each other sometimes. And so tell anybody out there that's working this as a couple, or they desire to, what kind of tips or what kind of like hints can you give them? This is like, we'll give some bonus fun stuff here.
Well, we have a very unique situation that we're too much alike. Like we are.
We're like the guy and girl version of each other. Yeah, it's like, really weird.
I'll be reaching in the fridge grabbing something, and she's like, I want this. And I'm like, well, it's already in my hand. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, from that sense, it's very easy, but it hasn't been easy all the time. Like we have to work on a lot of things, but the biggest thing obviously is your communication. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to communicate with your partner, how you're feeling, how you're feeling and what you want to experience, so on and so forth. I'd say that's the biggest factor that I would say is you need to communicate, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. So
it's
and
right.
We don't have comparison between each other. I remember at first, when we first started, I kind of felt that a little bit of comparison syndrome between each other. Like if he would get more leads than me, or he was signing up more people than I was. And I'm like, wait a second, we're a team here. They're our leads. So then I realized right away, I'm like, hey, stop. No, we're good. This is us. So that's one thing that I've heard between couples too, is that one feels like they're doing more than the other or whatever, but you guys just have to realize that it's a give and take, and the other, you're not both going to always be at the same pace all the time. Mm-hmm. But I think us doing the personal development stuff together too has really, really helped. Like, I feel like if one of us wasn't to do the journey and the other one was, we would be like this. And then it probably wouldn't work so well. Actually, in fact, I know that it wouldn't work at all. So I feel like you have to be all in together, whether it's the personal development, it's your daily DMOs and your communication and everything. That's probably my biggest advice.
Yeah.
That's really helpful, guys. That's awesome. Share with people, what do you mean by personal development? What does that mean to you? What importance does it play in the journey, in your perspective of everything?
Oh, it changes everything. Like, we were fortunate enough that we just did a course last week online, and I know you were involved with that, Jason. But, everything starts in just like your daily life. So it doesn't even have to start from just a business standpoint or anything.
We actually started out with gratitude at first. Yeah. So we did that book, The Magic.
Yeah.
And that actually was the first introduction to us. Actually, well, they say gratitude rewires your brain. It's so true. And we started the book, got about halfway through, we both fell off the wagon. We had to go and do it again. And now we're better at it. But that was like our introduction. And then we started listening to like podcasts. We're both not that great at reading books. I love reading. I just find that podcasts are a little bit easier because you can do other things while you're listening. instead of actually taking the time to read the
Well,
books.
I'll openly admit it. I hate reading. I hate reading. I think it's just a waste of time. But ever since coming into the business though, now like it has changed. There must have been a switch that went off or something. I know my mom could vouch for it. Like I wouldn't even read a page of a book and I'd be like, this is done. Like squirrel syndrome, right? Like what's next? Like I couldn't stay focused on a book. But now coming in, being able to relate, because like I'm so passionate about this business now. Anything that's business related or something that I can learn or take away from, it definitely has grabbed my attention, and I'm definitely more drawn into it because I want to incorporate that into my life. Or there's something I can always learn from either another mentor, another business person, or another just another perspective, not necessarily like in this industry, but it's always good to be able to pull different perspectives and different mindsets from other successful people, because let's be honest, like you're not going to go backwards. Like you're only going to go forward. You're only going to grow more. You're only going to retain more knowledge. So there's nothing to lose.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So it sounds like, and you both are, it sounds like fans more of like podcasts and audiobooks and things like that.
Yeah.
And that's really common. So Tony Robbins talks about this thing called net time, no extra time, NET time. And so you can listen to audio like driving to a job. You can listen to audio while working out or doing things like that. And it definitely is a lot harder to read doing most I tried to ride and to drive and read my senior year of college, and I was like, dude, that was the dumbest 30 seconds of my life. And I was like, okay, that's done. So awesome. So growing a ton through all of that. Here's what came to mind. What are the top 5 books or top 5 people who have shifted either one or both of you? It sounds like the magic is probably in there, which is
that's number one for sure. I'd highly recommend that just to anybody just that's starting off with any sort of journey in life, for sure. It's a super easy book to follow, and it's it's something you don't realize, but it's the style of book that basically holds you accountable. And it starts by you taking action because it's a daily method of operation. So like each chapter is a short, easy one to read, but you have to follow it, and it's on a daily basis. So it's a 28-day process. So that right there is already the first test in itself, because someone will read the book one day, one chapter, and then they won't read the second chapter till the second week. But that already defeats the whole purpose. You're already losing when you don't follow a simple task like that. So that right there is training yourself, just to commit to something and finish it.
Yeah. I love, you guys, is it fair to say each day in the magic takes about 5 to 15 minutes, even less, 1 to 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I say 5 because if you're reading it for the first time and everything, I don't think any of the chapters were crazy long. They were
they're 5-6 pages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree 100% with what you just shared. It is such a great way to, for someone who doesn't have a lot of reading skill, because I hated reading too. I refused to for a long time. And I just hammered myself through it. And next, I don't know, a shift happened. It happened early in my career. I was in a personal development company, and I started listening to more audios, and it's when I was first exposed to Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, and so many people. And even Les Brown, who's even in our company with us, and I remember something was implanted back then, and it just kind of kept me going. And somewhere after that, books were just easier to read and pick up, and that it had, and I share this because Nathan, what you shared around dude, I hate to read and all this stuff. It's amazing when, Dr. John DeMartini talks about this, that when we align things with our values and the things that are interesting to us, suddenly those barriers, they go away. And so you take a kid who they hate school or something, and if you can help them match to, he did this with a college kid, the college kid really liked girls. So he started matching up like, well, success in college and money and all these things. And that all helps with girls and everything. And all of a sudden he was like he started getting good grades. And so if we can match our values and what's important to us, then that's so it's a really cool way to find what's exciting. So if books weren't that cool, yeah, maybe math and science and history and all the stuff that we didn't care about wasn't really connecting. But then we find something like, oh, residual income, or whoa, like creating, leadership, communication, whatever it is. So the magic, gratitude, that's that's awesome. You guys have any others that really stick out that you love, books or even probably mostly books or podcasts or people that you want to recommend to anybody?
I'm gonna say Adrian Wesley because he's awesome. Yeah, I really really enjoy his podcast. He has great energy and he just says it like it is. But he's really all about like the power of your mind and everything like that too, and how to grow into a bigger, better person. And I've really enjoyed his podcast a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah, like your mindset is your biggest thing coming into anything. Like just the way that you see anything in life and the way you see anything in business. It's all about like, you can always have something negative that happens to you, but if you have the ability to train your mind to see the positive in a negative situation, it definitely flips the script a lot with, being in a negative slump to all of a sudden now skyrocketing, and, you turn a negative into a positive very quickly by just the way that you've shifted the perception of your mindset.
Awesome. So what, we didn't get to touch on this earlier. What have been, what's some of, or what's one of your biggest struggles you guys have seen so far? And this is where, okay, I want to pre-frame this, is that you may not have had too many struggles because you're in a lot of momentum. It's been 3.5 months. You've crushed a lot of things. You're well beyond what most people do within like 3 months. But I know every single journey has obstacles and challenges. It doesn't have to be like something negative. It could be like, we had our car engine blew out. We were down to one vehicle and we couldn't figure out things for, whatever it is. So what have been your challenges or one of your biggest challenges so far?
I would say like the early on challenge was changing my mindset. And it was like 100%, like just being able to, be grateful for the things that I have and like the situations that we are in. I had a couple of like, oh shit, like I wanted to pull my hair out moments. Like, it wasn't like all fun and games. Like I was like behind the scenes. I was like, why isn't this freaking working? Like, what am I doing wrong? What is, but biggest thing was surrounding ourselves with like-minded people, being attracted to the right people, putting ourselves in those situations, and things flipped in a hurry. So, if you're going to be around negative people all the time, you're going to probably 9 times out of 10, you're going to be in a negative situation. It's just simple.
I think too, what people have to realize is that everybody has those moments where they feel like they hit a plateau, or maybe they hit a roadblock or something like that. And you have to have like a pattern interrupt or something to switch it up so that you can get out of it. And the thing is as long as you don't stay in it, you're good. But some people, they let it suck them in, and we're lucky because we have both of us. So if he's in a little bit of a slump or something, you can be like, hey, it's okay. It's just one of those days. It happens. We're going to keep trucking. But also I remember I had a conversation with Jody. We were doing so well in our business, and I think it was like our 3rd or 4th weekend, and we had got people in like every week. And the first week that we didn't get somebody in, and I had all these people committed and everything, and I'm like, but they said they're going to sign up. They said they were going to. And I like messaged Jody and I'm like, I don't understand right now. Like, I'm so upset. And she's like, okay, let's look at the big picture here. You're upset. Why? You're upset because you didn't enroll the people you thought you were going to enroll in 1 week. So what? There's going to be new people next week. And guess what? Those people are going to come back around. And it's nice when you have like those mentors and other people who can see the bigger picture sometimes. Because when you're in that mindset, you get stuck in your little bubble and you're like, oh shit. But yeah, no, she totally helped me. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm being ridiculous right now. It's only 1 week. Who cares? We're going to keep on going. And I think you just have to make sure that you tell yourself, we're going no matter what.
Just to see like where we've come from like from the beginning, from like where we were to, you know, it's like we were pushing too hard, or like we were like getting upset about things that were out of our control.
I think we were really hard on ourselves because we had such a high expectation for ourselves too.
But like, I'm a very competitive person, so don't get me wrong here. So like, I'm always expecting the best out of myself. I'm always wanting more out of myself. So I'm very hard on myself. I can openly admit that. But being able to have that mindset shift towards being like, well, you know what? If this person ends up not coming in and being a part of our team, well, you know what? That just opened up the door for like 3 more other people that we want to have. We want to have the people that are going to work best with us. If that person doesn't take that opportunity, that's their loss. That's not our loss at the end of the day.
What do you guys, as far as your team or other people that, let's say anybody you knew that got started around when you did, or they're a couple months in, or, you know, even people on your team, that what do you think people struggle with the most? What do you think is the biggest obstacle for most people?
Consistency.
Consistency.
I think consistency and probably mindset, but definitely consistency. If you're at least consistent, you should see some sort of results. But I feel like when people get frustrated, then they put it down, they let it go for a little while, and they're like, I'll come back to it later because I'm frustrated. And 9 times out of 10, actually, how about let's just say 10 out of 10, that doesn't work, because you stop the ball from rolling and now you got to start pushing that rock back up the hill again. So I would honestly say, even if you're just doing a little bit every day, regardless of if you think it's working or not, it is working. It might just be a little bit slower than what other people are doing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, if you're not consistent in your business every day, like, you don't realize how many people you actually touch every day and how many people get eyes on what you're doing. And a lot of people are so hyper focused on, well, I didn't get the likes, I didn't get the engagement, the shares. They didn't get any of that. You know, they're looking for like that instant gratification, you know. And
it isn't really about that.
I can openly admit I was about that. I was always like, well, why didn't I get like the 30, 40 likes? Why didn't I get like the comments? But at the end of the day, you don't realize like that post, you know, it could reach to 300 people. It could reach to 800 people. You don't know that. And each day that you take off, or each day that you do not make a post, or you do not reach out to people,
you lose your followers.
You're 100% not going to connect with anybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have nothing to lose, but you know, the momentum, like you said, and then it's an uphill battle from there.
Yeah, I love you guys shared that, and it's reflected in, you'd mentioned, you know, somebody approached you and they're like asking you about business stuff, but you had no idea they even were aware of any of it, and they're not engaging in any capacity. I think there are far more people who don't engage that are still paying attention than most of us realize. And it's really hard to keep that. It can be hard to keep that in mind when you're not seeing results. And, you know, I think it's those times when it's when our why is tested. It's when we're being tested. I think like everything's just like, there's just continuous tests and leaps of faith. And that's like what everything is like, I don't know where this thing's going. Let's leap off the cliff. We'll build planes or wings or something on the way down, or someone will do a parachute. I don't know. We're just going to do it.
But it's even like, it's just the fact that I think it was last week or the week before. And here's a prime example. I had a now I can call him a team member, but he reached out to me out of thin air. I didn't even have him as a friend on Facebook or anything. He's followed my posts, he's followed stuff, he's never liked anything, but all of a sudden I get a message, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm interested. Like, I want to know like what this is about. Like, I can relate to what you're doing. Like, I'm in the same situation. I want to be able to provide for my family. I want this financial and time freedom. And I was like, I had like that shock moment. Like, this is exactly what this is about, because you do not know who is watching. And I mean, he's not even a friend. I think I only had like one common mutual friend. And the fact that like all of a sudden he reached out to me and he's like, I want in today. I was like, okay, well, let's like, welcome to the team. I'm going to give you as much support as I possibly can. And let's do this. And that was like just having that, you know, I was like that reassurance that, you know, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of like when. And I all of a sudden there was my first example of, being consistent and showing up, and it paid off.
So that's amazing. I think there's, you just said something. I think there's a couple people now. You guys have, what percentage would you guess of everybody that you've personally enrolled? What percentage were people that were cold, that you didn't have any conversations before they had joined?
Like 70%.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe
higher.
even higher.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
more than half,
75,
like
80%.
Yeah.
for sure. So
Mhm.
that I'm really glad I asked that, because what you just said, Nathan, here I'm playing, see, I'm sitting in the shoes of like people from all around the world, and there's this huge group of people that are like, that doesn't work. You have to go directly message people. You have to always be on the attack and get everywhere. And people aren't just going to come and reach out to you. And, attraction marketing doesn't work. There's people that still believe that, even though some of us have been doing it for like decades. So what is, I know you talked about being authentic, being consistent. What do people really need? What's like, if there is a magic formula that if they were to put it into use and to follow it, what would your version of the magic be for someone who they want to have a team like you guys someday, whether it's in a year from now or like a month from now or whatever that looks like for them? What would be like the daily method of operation? This is kind of, this ties into, if you started from scratch, let's do the 90-day thing. So if you started from scratch today, because tie in what I just hinted at, if you started straight from scratch today, you lost all of your contacts, you have no contact, you can't text anybody in your phone, you have no fans on your business page, let's say no friends on Facebook, no email list, there's no influence whatsoever. And if we took all that away, what would your next 90 days look like if you're starting just from scratch right now?
I'd say the biggest thing would be surround yourself with the most like-minded people, or surround yourselves with the team leaders or mentors or people that attract what you want to have out of your life, and duplicate what they have done. And so the biggest thing is you have to start with yourself, though. You have to start with your training. You have to start with your personal development. I even say, like, I wouldn't even try to even make sales in my first month. I would try to build my tribe. I'd try to build
Your following.
build your following, work on your personal development, your mindset, work on yourself first, and then the business side will fall after that. But the biggest thing is with even this industry and this business is we have so many mentors and so many team leaders that it is not very hard to duplicate what they're doing because of the value that they provide to us. It's just like the ripple effect. So if you just do exactly what those people do, like for yourself, Jason, like if you just do like what you're doing and I'm going to just follow you, it just trickles into like your daily life and like what you're going to provide value into like your following and the people that are going to come to you.
So what would take people through a single day of what you do, like whether it's does the beginning of your business, let's say your first week or so, did those days look a lot like today does, or are things starting to shift are you changing things by now? Or mostly the same?
It's hard to say. I mean, a lot of things obviously have changed, whether we can acknowledge it or not. But for sure, our mindset has changed greatly. The way that we perceive different situations. I know at first, just the fact of like the fear of rejection when we first started, that was like the biggest thing that weighed on us. Was like that rejection was like what really held us back.
I know that a lot of our newer people said it's so much information to take in at once that they're feeling overwhelmed too. And I get it, because I totally did it too, where I was like, I'm so excited. I'm going to do like 4 or 5 hours of the training. I'm going to get as much done as I can. But I would honestly say, don't do it all at once. Bite it off chunk by chunk. And then even like make notes, go back to your notes. do your daily methods of operation. So whether you're getting a brand new Facebook page, you're adding 10, 20 people a day, joining some groups with like-minded people who have the same hobbies as you, the same interests as you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, basically not overwhelming yourself.
Yeah.
It's all a compound effect, right? You have to see like the big picture.
Mhm.
It's not like go at 1,000 people today and you have to talk to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
You're gonna fry your brain. So like let's just say you know, you wake up tomorrow, you make a post, you add 10 people,
You do some training.
and like maybe you talk to a handful of people. Okay, day 1 complete. Okay, now you do that for 7 days in a row. Like how many more people you're going to be talking to, how many more people you're going to be reaching out to. It's all about compound. It's like that book,
The
like
compound effect. Yeah.
So that's another big one. Like people don't realize is like if you compound these methods on a daily basis and you stay consistent. So even just like 10 people a day, that's 70 people in a week that you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So
I always tell the people on our team, especially because we have so many new people, you might not be seeing results yet, but you're laying your bricks down. You're laying down your foundation right now. So I know you might be getting frustrated because you're not seeing results right away, but you have to lay down the foundation in order to build up.
Yep. This is really solid. So daily stuff that people should be doing is sharing something somewhere. Let's even say somewhere being, I know people are probably watching us on Facebook. They may see this on YouTube or all kinds of places. Who knows where you guys are going to put all this, but imagine, so they go somewhere, they share something. So that's where they can practice their authenticity, getting some stories out there. What are your thoughts on when someone's first starting out, they don't have any success, they don't really have a story yet? What's your advice to them? What do they share, like when they don't have success yet?
I would say talk about their struggles right now, where they are like in a point in their life and why they have started this shift to what they're working towards.
Or even if they have amazing mentors or somebody that they look up to, that's the reason why they started. Like even if we say Josh and Jenna or yourself or Aaron Parker or Jeff and Jody, talk about them and their success stories and why they were an inspiration to you. And that's why you got in. Like just be authentic about it. And just like there's so many people in this company who are so amazing that it's hard not to be inspired. Team Inspire.
But like everyone gets excited about something, right? So obviously people that are like making this shift or they've jumped into this business, something excited them, right? So it's a matter of what excited you and share your story.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. What are your thoughts on sharing other people's successes, and then as you're developing your own, sharing even more of your stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. There's the twin effect that you talked about. I love it. This is, so we talking about someone's like what should their day look like? So it sounded like fill in anything I'm missing here. So let go of expectations as far as results. Those are going to come when you put in a set of activities. And those activities would be things like share something out there somewhere. Could be an email list, YouTube video, Facebook Live, written post, whatever, something like that. Connect with some new people that share some kind of values, hobbies, and things with us, and plug into some training and do some kind of personal development somewhere in there. Those are like about 4 main things there. Is there anything that we're missing that is there anything else you guys did outside of those that you think contributed to your success?
The biggest, just taking action. And the biggest thing, like also like what we learned last week too, is you don't necessarily have to have a plan. As long as you're making progress and you're working towards something and you're moving in that general direction, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how big or how small, as long as you're making some sort of progress and you're not remaining stagnant, That's the biggest thing that I can really say.
I think too, just making sure that you're still having fun with it too. Like make sure that it's something that you're enjoying, because if you're not enjoying it, you're not going to want to do it. So even if you're grinding, make sure you make time in your day to have fun, whether that's going to the gym, going for a run, going to yoga, going to meet your friends for coffee, whatever it is. But don't be so hyper focused that that's all you're doing, because then it's going to feel like a chore and you're going to drop it eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, guys. I totally agree. I think that there are parts of our businesses, especially when we're first starting, you know, we can't outsource everything if we don't have the income. Like all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the bookkeeping, all the marketing, all the follow-up, there's like, we can just go on and on. And so there's ultimately a set of activities somewhere in there that we're like, you know, I don't really like this stuff that much. And when we fill our day with things that still excite us and that push us, then it actually gives us more energy to go tackle things that we don't necessarily want to do. But what's really cool, I think you're dead on, Kendall, that we ultimately want to build a business and a life that we just love the things that we're doing. And then the other parts, and I think you guys have some of these synergies. I agree with you. You have tons of similarities. You also fill each other's gaps in a lot of ways, which is super powerful. And it's not just when one person's like having a down day. I mean, filling gaps of like, you have different temperaments and there's different things how you fill things. And so I think that's a really amazing. By the way, I think you're dead on with the personal development. If there's one person doing all this development and they're like growing and growing and growing and the other person's like stagnating, it creates these big chasms. And so it's really cool that you're taking things together and, you know, discussing things and all that kind of stuff. That's super cool. So what is your, speaking of this fun and this whole life, you know, ultimately what you're building, what excites you guys the most? Like, paint us a picture of your business in, let's even go more than a year. Paint a picture of maybe a year, 2 years, you know, 1 to 3 year range. What does your business and your life look like? You know, what does your day look like? And you know, share a little bit about where you're taking things, your vision.
Well, our vision is like we want to move from where we are. That's our biggest goal that drives us. We want to move to beautiful British Columbia, more out west. But the biggest thing is I don't want to move out there to go and have to source another job, and then I don't get to experience the life out there that we want to have with the freedom and the financial freedom that comes with that. So that's another reason why we got into this business, because
It's another
why. You know, we get to move. All we need is just a Wi-Fi connection. You're never grounded in one place. We love to travel, so more traveling is on the agenda for us as well. And you know, down the road, like we talked about, you know, we want to have a family. And the cost of childcare and daycare nowadays is like, it's astronomical here. I don't know what it is like in the States, but the fact that, you know, if we don't have to work like at our daily jobs and we're able to raise our children at home without having to pay for somebody else that is going to spend the majority of the time with them, I think that right there is just a win-win, being able to like have like those they're huge moments in life that you get to experience down the road. So I would say that's yeah.
You forgot the boat.
Oh, and then the boat. My boat. Like I want to.
This is pride and joy. You forgot it.
Just being humble about it. You know, my boat. I love my boat.
He wants to be out on his boat, doing work on his boat.
Yeah, I could be on the water 24 hours a day. So I mean, it's
like what kind of boat? Like speedboat with like tone.
I got a wakeboarding boat. Yeah, I have an Axis T22. So yeah, I got a wakeboarding boat. So it's
awesome.
Yeah, it's my pride and joy. So
yeah, that's super cool.
Trying to be humble. I had to mention the boat.
I love
it every day if I let him.
Well, some people's dreams just to get the boat in the first place, and then to have the time and the money to be able to go run the boat.
Doesn't run off of hopes and dreams, so I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. So do you have any final words? You know, we jumped across a lot of areas of where you started, what you've done, your team's having success, you're in momentum, everything's just, it's the legacy you're leaving is amazing. And you're, you know, sharing, you got really deep into some of the daily method stuff, some of the, you know, your whys, and now people know what a why is, not just what
Not
is
the letter Y.
Yeah. What is any final words, anything that showed up for you during our chat here?
I think just anything. I just want to say thank you so much, Jason. So grateful that we've been able to cross paths and have you in our life and have you in our journey. And I'm so excited to be able to see you in Arizona in only 2 more months, and then, you know, see you in Vegas in August. So I can't wait for that. That's going to be an amazing experience, being able to finally, you know, be in the same room with you. But thank you so much for everything that you do for us and that you continue to do for us. And can't say enough of good things.
I think I just want to let people know too that when it gets hard, don't quit, because I really don't want you guys to give up on your dreams. I know there's so many people who have a big why and they lose it. And if you ever feel like that, reach out to us or reach out to whoever's mentoring, and we will help you push that rock up the hill, even if it's just as simple as what Jody had to do for me that day, or Ashley, or anybody. Like, you're not alone, and we're here to help you, and we want to see you succeed too, because we want your dreams to come true. So we thank you so much, Jason, for everything, and we can't thank you enough for your mentorship. It means the world to us. And yeah, we're right where we need to be.
I really, Nathan and Kendall, I appreciate you both so much, and really appreciate all your time out here. You inspire me daily, and what's much more important is the inspiration you leave in the world around you, and it's in all the people who you don't realize they're not liking, they're not loving, they may not even be friends with you. You know, this interview is going to be seen by tens of thousands of people, and that's just in the short term, and a lot more than that. And just I really applaud you for sharing so transparently and authentically. I think something people can take out of this is seeing the way that you both shared, and you were totally authentic. You know, you're not like trying to hide, like, yeah, I work a job, but like, don't tell anybody. And like there's people that they just ignore all that, and that rawness and the realness, I believe I think that's what really attracts people. And you guys are proving it. You have 70% of a team that you've attracted into you because stepping into more, being yourselves, and really, you know, getting out there. Okay, we can't close without a follow-up question. Nathan, you had mentioned there's a point you were afraid of the judgment of people. What specifically helped you get through that?
Oh, that's a good one. Really just getting over my fear and just knowing that in order to be where I want to go, I can't worry about what other people think.
You had to make a decision.
I had to make a decision. And I made my decision to really just not give a shit. Really. It's on it. Like, I don't mean to come off the wrong way, but honestly, it's just, if I want to go somewhere and the way to get there is just, I'm not going to care what other people think. I'm just going to continue my journey, and I'm going to continue to what I'm going to do, and not be afraid of rejection. Because at the end of the day, like, if I don't reach out to somebody in the fear of rejection, you know, that's somebody that I could be connecting with, and that's where the mind shift comes from, and that's pretty much it.
What meaning do you attach to that? Let's say somebody does, you know, reject you, or they tell you no or something. So for some people, it's like, you know, that business sounds great. It's just I'm not interested in that. I'm not at that time. Some people will take that as like, you just went behind my back and stabbed me with a knife, and then took, like, So what does that mean to you when somebody tells you no or rejects you? What's the bigger, like the greater picture meaning you attach to that?
What I like to know is like no, like so the acronym of no just stands for next opportunity.
Yeah.
So I don't stress about it. I don't, it's no, it's like good. I'd rather you tell me no than string me out and waste my time, because now I can go and connect with 10 more other people in the meantime. So
Yeah. Anything around that, Kendall?
I think now when people say no, I'm almost just like sad for them because I know what a great business this is and what a great opportunity it is. And we literally have the golden ticket in our hands. And for somebody to not be able to see that, it's almost like, oh, that sucks. I really wish that you could just take a little peek in and see what you're missing out on.
Yeah, and so many people are just stuck like in their own ways, and they're not willing to open up their minds. And it's sad, and it's unfortunate that so many people are stuck in their ways, and they can't really see that next opportunity or that bigger picture. Yeah. And that just comes with it at the end of the day. I'm not here to convince people. There's only so much that we can do, and at the end of the day, we're just here to offer an opportunity, and people are willing to take that. You know what? I feel 9 times out of 10, people are they're just gonna shoot themselves in the foot, and they're just the fear of rejection, or not rejection, but what's the word I'm looking for? Regret.
Regret, yeah.
That's a lot worse than anything else, is having the regret.
But I think what people need to realize is just don't take it personally. I know it's easier said than done, but it's obviously because that person's not ready for what you're offering them at that time. So we have to not take it personally. No, sorry, my cat's trying to get in the way of the computer.
Yeah. I love it. You have kids running all around here. I love it. So,
we got 4 babies.
The
cat trying to get on camera.
I think that I love your NO acronym for next opportunity. And it's not just your next opportunity of like the next person to talk to. It's their next opportunity too. And I think the way because I struggled with that for almost my entire life and for years in this industry. And it was where I finally got to this point of it's okay if people don't see my vision, or if I didn't properly communicate, then I'm like, well, that's all on me. I need to work on my communication. But there is, I feel sincerely good if somebody has taken a look and it's really not for them, and they're just on a different journey right now, they're on to their next opportunity. And that might be, maybe they're dealing with something in a relationship or life or finances or whatever it is that they wouldn't have any bandwidth for this, and they wouldn't put any heart and time into it. And so it's helped a lot to look at things where I agree with you both 100% that like what we have here, I mean, this is the greatest thing I've seen in 14 years. And I've been through so many programs. I don't want to say the numbers, it's crazy, but I've even built teams in many programs. And it's knowing what else is out there. I'd mentioned to someone this yesterday, actually, that they've only been doing all this, everything, their whole online journey started like a couple months ago. The whole journey, they haven't spent 60,000 on the wrong stuff. They haven't even spent 1,000 on the wrong stuff. And I was like, your biggest danger right now is not realizing how special this is, what you have. So this is someone on the inside of our team. And I totally agree with that. And with the other part of like, dude, it's totally cool. You go on to your next thing. I'm going on my next thing. And to shield your own energy, I think that's that part of, not caring about what people think. It's not that you don't care about people. You're just not going to allow what they think about what you're doing to stop you creating this amazing thing in the world. So
absolutely.
Awesome, guys. I can't wait for you guys to go. I've been seeing my Facebook wall, and I can't wait to go to yours. There's been some amazing comments that that have been shared all throughout this thing. So for all of you, whether you're here live with us on Facebook or anywhere else that you're seeing this, first of all, I just want to acknowledge you, Kendall and Nathan. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. And it's been, it's seeing people with your kind of why and your vision and impacting others. That's what takes me through when I'm having hard times. I think about leaders like yourselves and the things you're doing and the work you're putting in, and it just, that's truly what's powered me anytime I've had, because we all go through things throughout different parts of life, and in those moments, it always what inspires me. It is not, it's very rarely about the like, oh yeah, the money so I can like pay for things or whatever it is. It's about the people, and you both embody so much of that, of serving others and teaching and mentoring, and watching you step up into even more of those roles. It's amazing. And here's the most amazing part. You're just getting started. Like
Yeah.
you're well, I mean, it's going to blink. You're going to be 10K, 25K. You're going to be flying through the ranks so quickly here. But even then, you're just getting started. And it's so cool to realize this, you jumped in and you created this splash, and the ripples that flowed out from there, and now impacting people all throughout your team, and all throughout many teams, all throughout the entire company even, and people seeing this, inspired in so many different ways. So I just want to acknowledge and appreciate both of you for sharing so authentically today, and for getting so raw in all the parts, and even dealing with, like, we kind of closed down the, oh wait, I forgot this one question kind of a thing. So I would invite anybody that, I don't know exactly what the page looks like where you're seeing this. I don't know what social media platform you're seeing, unless you're with us here when we did the original Facebook Live. And just want to invite you to, there might be a link down below this video, or connect with Nathan and Kendall if they sent you this. And just, you guys are such amazing, inspiring leaders, and realizing what you're creating over the coming weeks, months, and years, much less like a decade. Your impact is so much greater than you could even possibly dream right now, where you're, moving to any city in the entire world with any size of boat, and not having to have a job to make all that happen. That's the future you're quickly stepping into. And even that is just the very beginning. That's the start line of what is possible for you to create. And what's really cool, because service to many leads to greatness, is that as you're getting there, I love Zig Ziglar's quote. I adopted this in 2007. It changed everything in my career, that you can have anything you want in life if you can just help enough other people get what they want. And
Yeah.
I flipped my whole life to I quoted it 1,000 times. I said it every second I could. And that's exactly what you're creating. So the boat and all the things you're creating all comes from the amount of people that you continue to serve, which you're doing an amazing role and job of that, and stepping up as leaders and mentors. And just encourage you to keep leading by example, and really just keep that your daily method of operation is beautiful. I think it's dead on. And if you keep that as your foundation for all of the months to come, you'll find the other things to build on top of that, whatever makes sense, and we'll all connect around that. And I think it's just the most solid foundation you can have, that you're hitting all the areas that could hurt somebody's business. Not enough new exposures, not enough conversations with those people, not doing personal development. And I just had them all four. I lost the last one. So to have all that together, this foundation that you've built, it's really amazing. So super pumped to finally, we're going to connect in person here in a couple months, and that's going to be
So
like
excited.
So I'm excited to see. I know you're going to be some much bigger rank than you currently are, with team members and leaders blowing up all over the place. So appreciate both of you so much. So grateful to be on this journey with you, and appreciate all your time, guys.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so much, Jason. Take care.
There's a cat.
We got the